Hi, friendo, Steve here. Welcome back to your coming out Raw. It's the recap. I got your recaps for you. I'll go over these really quick, just so if you're only here for WWE results for the Raw today, you can have them, and then I'll talk about them a little bit. I don't want to go overboard. And before you watch this, I would greatly suggest you watch Going In Raw, the show we did just prior to Raw, where we talk about what we speculate is going to happen. We actually called the tournament brackets almost exactly. I think Larson has them down exactly. Which is kind of impressive. I give ourselves a pat on our backs for that. Let's see here. Triple H did a segment with Roman Reigns saying, you need to join the Authority and we'll basically give you the belt. Roman Reigns predictably said, no, I'm a good guy. Let's see here. Then Triple H said, well, fuck you. You're going to fight the Big Show right now in your qualifying match. Reigns fought the Big Show. Can you guess who won that? Obviously, it was Reigns. Kevin Owens, surprise, surprise, beat Titus O'Neil for a qualifying spot in the tournament, or to move on, I guess, into the next round. Let's see here. What's this? And then we took a break from the men's action. Becky Lynch went over Paige to sort of heighten that feud and give Becky Lynch some semblance of credibility, I guess. Let's see here. Dolph Ziggler went over The Miz to move on. Again, surprise, surprise. There's like an 8-man, or it's, 16-man tournament to begin with. Only 8 of them were credible people. Like, there was never a chance that Titus O'Neil was going to move on. There was never a chance. The crowd literally laughed when Triple H said, your next opponent's coming up next for the tournament. They laughed when the Big Show came out because everybody knows he's going to lose. Natalya beat Naomi. I was literally sleeping when that happened. I was sleeping during a couple of these. So let's see here. Cesaro went over Sheamus. That's the only one that was maybe in doubt because Sheamus is the Money in the Bank champion. However, champion. He's not a champion. That was the only one who was in doubt just because Sheamus has the briefcase. And he had been getting a push for a while, but he's not now. So that was kind of in the bag for Cesaro. Ambrose went over Tyler Breeze. Of course, that was going to happen. Tyler Breeze is not going to move on in this tournament. And then finally, the New Day went over the Usos. Had nothing to do with the tournament. That was a fun match. They match up well. The Usos. This is the problem with this, though. The Usos are straight baby faces. Even the luster of their return has worn off at this point. Up against the New Day's heel face heat. The New Day they're that tweener thing right now that it always goes this way when you have a legitimately entertaining act and they're a heel and then they just turn face. You can't stop it. Same thing happened with Stone Cold Steve Austin. They're the most entertaining thing on the card right now. They had the British fans in the palm of their hands. But it's still an entertaining match. Hopefully they'll have a nice long feud with the Usos. Maybe it'll turn me on the Usos. Maybe the Usos will turn heel against the New Day, who are going to they have to be faces soon. That's going to happen. And then, of course, at the end, this is very curious. At the end, we had Bray Wyatt get destroyed by The Undertaker. The entire Wyatt family, get destroyed by Undertaker and Kane. This almost felt like, and I know it's setting up a Survivor Series matchup. It makes me wonder, like, this felt like the blow-off of a feud. Like a hastily thrown together blow-off for their feud. I don't believe that for a second. I know they're going to do Team Wyatt, or the Wyatt family versus, the Brothers of Destruction, and then, I guess, 3 other people. But it makes me wonder, who are the other 3 people that are going to be with Undertaker and Kane? Because I don't know who on the roster would fit that. I mean, could Sting come back? I don't know. It was really, I think it was very well staged. It was very theatrical. It was really cool. It felt like, once again, with the Wyatt feud, there wasn't anything that really precipitated this happening. My screen went dark there. The Undertaker and Kane came back, and they just came back. Bray Wyatt said, I can do the lightning pyrotechnics, and I can tell the guy to dim the lights and do red fire. And then Undertaker and Kane's music hit, or Undertaker's music hit, and they had this really cool video package. And then they came out. It just felt like it was just a thrown together, and they destroyed the Wyatt family. I don't know why they're back when, like, they were just taking some time, like they got kidnapped. Like, what's the storyline here? How did they come back? And where were they this whole time when the Wyatts kidnapped them? Like, where did they put them, and why are they back now? I don't get. I mean, did they just cart them off, beat them down, and think, oh, they're old, they're gonna have to retire now? Did they give them a turnbuckle powerbomb and crack their neck like Sting did? I don't know. I know if Sting shows up, they've got like 100 years together combined on that. 150 years together combined on that team. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know where that's going to go from here. I don't know who their partners are going to be. I haven't really looked up any dirt sheets to see what that's going to be. I don't know. Running down the rest of the card, Reigns. This is the big question: is Reigns going to turn heel at Survivor Series? Is Ambrose going to turn heel at Survivor Series? And we'll see a similar situation to The Rock in 1998 Survivor Series. That's something's going to happen. Something big's going to happen there. I think Survivor Series is actually going to be a lot of fun. I would love to see either one. I think it would be really tough for them to get Ambrose over as a heel against Reigns, but I can kind of see them doing it if he sort of transitions his badass character into more of a cowardly guy. In sort of the Seth Rollins mold, but crazy. I could see that happening, and I'd love to see Ambrose as a heel, see if he can pull it off, see if he can get Reigns over. I think that would be the big thing now is, can you get... Another thing I want to mention, too, is when Triple H was talking to Reigns about, you need to come over to the dark side, Reigns, and he puts the belt on him, and Reigns didn't say a word, I mean, until he did, and it ruined everything, but Reigns was just sitting there sort of squinting and grimacing and being confused, and he was showing a little bit of, he's conflicted a little bit. He put the belt on his shoulder, and he's like, hey, it could look good on you, Reigns. And Reigns looked legitimately like he was like, oh, I'm kind of torn here. I wish that had been Reigns for the last year, 2 years, whatever, how long he's been out here. Not talking, not saying anything, just being that silent, badass type, because he has the look of a guy who can pull that off. You try to do that on somebody that looks like a fucking coloring book threw up like Ryback, and it's not going to work. But a guy like Reigns, that's going to work on him. Instead of him coming out and trying to talk like he's a bro, that's not going to work. I like the silent, badass guy that we saw in the opening segment tonight. And then he had to talk, and the crowd just sort of laughed. And it's funny because it's like he's being offered a very good career opportunity here. And why isn't he not taking it up? There's no motivation for him saying no. Really, it's just, hey, you're bad, I'm good, and I want to fight more people. He just saw his running buddy of 3 years or whatever throw out his knee, get his knee exploded, and he's saying, no, I want to keep fighting. Just take the belt. Why aren't you just taking the belt? There should be some more motivation there besides just I'm good. That's too much Cena motivation there. I don't like that. So anyways, I don't know. It was kind of I'm not going to say the problem with this particular edition of Raw and doing this tournament is who's going to win each of these qualifying matches. There's not going to be any upsets here. So yeah, it was a decent episode. They had some good fights. I slept a little bit. But I'm really, it's looking like I didn't even see the bracket, but it looks like it's going to be, Reigns versus, what is this? Reigns versus Del Rio. We know he's going over there, and Owens versus Ambrose, in the final. That sort of looks like where it's going if I got the brackets right. Larson predicted that and going in Raw. Go check that out right now. And then, so he's thinking that it's going to be Reigns versus Ambrose, in the final for the belt. I think it's going to be Reigns versus Owens. I think that's probably the safer bet. Although I would love to see Reigns versus Ambrose. I think that'd be fantastic. And it would make sense. Somebody needs to go heel. Somebody needs to fill the gap in the authority. I could see that being either Owens or Ambrose. I think they could probably throw down the challenge to Ambrose and say, hey, we know you're totally over right now. Let's see what you can do as a heel. If he aligns with the authority, that might work as a heel. If he's on his own as a heel, it's not going to work because people love him too much. So I don't know. It's setting things up for a very interesting Survivor Series. This was kind of a by the numbers episode. It kind of had to be by virtue of the tournament and what their roster looks like right now. So anyways, that's coming out Raw. Go check out Going in Raw. That's I'll put up a link in the annotations or the clickouts or whatever. So thanks, and we'll talk to you guys next week.